TMZ podcast. I'm Charlie Neff.
I'm Edward Lewis.
Edward is filling in today for Charlie Cotton. Edward's our big top dog over at TMZ Sports. Thanks for joining us today, Edward.
Thanks for having me, Charlie.
Lots of topics today. We have been working all morning on this arrest. Justin Timberlake was arrested in New York for DWI. We'll get into that. We have all the details on that. Tom Brady. His kids did not spend Father's Day with him. Instead, they were with Gisele and her new boy toy, Joaquim Valente. We'll get into that. Kevin Costner is defending the fact that he casted his son in his new show, even though he had previously said that it would be unfair to cast his kids in movies or shows. So we'll get into that. And lastly, Landon Donovan has a crazy hairstyle.
Yeah.
I don't know what the inspiration was behind that, but he's getting a lot of criticism.
We'll get into that. Yeah.
All right. So first things first, Justin Timberlake was arrested in Sag Harbor late Monday night / early Tuesday morning. So we've spoken to some people connected with law enforcement sources, and they're telling us that basically what happened is Justin was having dinner, having some drinks. He was at this hotel called the American Hotel in Sag Harbor, right there where all the happening spots are. He got behind the wheel of his car, drove off, immediately blew a stop sign, we're told. Cops saw this. They started following him, and then they noticed he started swerving. And at that point, they pulled him over. And we're told that they had him do a field sobriety test. They asked him to do a breathalyzer test, but he refused. And the crazy part to me, I mean, obviously all this is crazy, but he had several friends that saw that he got pulled over. They came up on the scene and were trying to beg cops to give Justin a break. Cops said, oh, no way. They refused. They handcuffed Justin. They arrested him for driving while intoxicated. He's been released and, he is on tour. He has a couple shows coming up on Friday and Saturday in Chicago. Unclear if he's still going to perform. But yeah, big news this morning.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. How does Justin Timberlake not have a driver? You know what I mean?
Right.
And again, these are all allegations. Who knows, whether he was drunk or not. But to be Justin Timberlake and have this much money and be in really cities, perhaps he lives in New York. I'm not really familiar with where his main residence is. But to not have somebody that is driving you around at all times is wild to me, especially when alcohol is involved.
Yeah, or at the very least, call an Uber, call a black car, a black SUV. It's not that hard. I mean, I do feel like maybe there's less and less DUIs because we have such access to things like Uber and Lyft and Alto. I don't know why he felt like he could get behind the car, but then also, if you have friends, you have these friends that came up on the scene that were like, hey, give him a break.
Yeah.
Why didn't these friends say, don't drive, bro? Give me the keys. Let me call you an Uber.
I'm sure it's the tale as old as time, right? That he was probably very, very close to his actual residence where he was going to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure there was a little bit of reasoning, and I'm sure it's going to come out that he wasn't blacked. You know what I mean? He wasn't blacked out. He was able to be coherent. I think even they said he politely refused a breathalyzer test. So, he wasn't belligerently behind the wheel and didn't appear to be extremely, extremely irresponsible. But at the same time, yeah, it's like Uber is probably $10 to go from where he was to where he needs to be. And as a guy who's probably approaching billionaire status or, somewhere in that realm, what are we talking about here, JT?
Number one, never drink and drive.
Right.
I know there's a lot of times where people feel like they can drive, don't worry, bro, I'm good. But look, at the end of the day, so many people die from drunk drivers that it's not acceptable. And like what you said, he has the means to pay for any kind of car service. By the way, we're told that the whole exchange is all on body cam. So, if and when we do get that, it'll be interesting to see what exactly unfolded.
Right, how celebrity card was pulled, whether by his friends or him, you know what I mean? Because it seems there was some sort of, hey, that's Justin Timberlake, let him go. Now, New York, I cover a lot of court cases. So New York is very difficult to get body cam from, usually, that kind of area. So I wonder if we will ever get it. But yeah, I wonder how that whole exchange went down.
Woo, yeah. All right, busy morning for us today. All right, moving on. Tom Brady's kids spent Father's Day with Gisele's new guy, Joaquim Valente. He's a jiu-jitsu instructor that originally Tom hired for their kids. But Tom was kind of busy too. He was kind of doing his own thing on Father's Day, right?
Yeah,
Appeared on a show.
Tom is, as we all know now, he signed a deal with Fox following his playing days. It's somewhere in the $300 million range to broadcast NFL games. His first game is actually going to be in September. It's the Browns versus Dallas Cowboys. It's their season opener. It's a huge game. But Tom has not been in front of the camera, at least publicly, until Sunday. So it kind of didn't work out well for his schedule. Obviously, you would want to be with your kids on Father's Day. So instead, like you said, they got to hang out with Joaquim Valente. I will say before we get into Joaquim Valente and Gisele stuff, Tom was great on camera. It was his first time being on camera.
I mean,
and he is stunning. I mean, that man is so
he's
pretty.
so beautiful.
And
I
like
know.
usually, like I was saying this on TMZ Live yesterday, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are like the it crew, right? And Troy Aikman is 6'4", 6'5", and Joe Buck is not. But they balance them out on TV. But for some reason, I guess it's because Tom was kind of joining the broadcast. It wasn't like he wasn't a true commentator. He gets in there, he's 6'5", and everybody else is just small.
Teeny tiny.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he is so handsome and so powerful and so overwhelming presence, and he's 7-time Super Bowl winner. Like, he has this commanding presence that comes across on camera. And even afterwards, they asked him to present the MVP trophy of the UFL game, and he was great on that. I mean, he is as advertised, and it's rare. You know what I mean? It's like Jason Witten, Dallas Cowboys Hall of Famer, tried this and was bad at it. Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints Hall of Famer, tried this and was bad at it. It's not easy to be a Tony Romo or a Troy Aikman, and he's doing it, and he did it. So I think it was. While he had to sacrifice Father's Day, I think it was a good sign for him.
But he was in St. Louis, Missouri, right?
Yes, correct.
Why couldn't the kids come out there and be with him? It is a little strange that they stayed behind with Joaquim and Gisele.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have brought them out to St. Louis. They could have, seen some of the sights out there.
Perhaps it's because Wednesday night was the Patriots Hall of Fame induction ceremony and all the kids were there. So maybe it has something to do with the agreement with Gisele where it's like, okay, you get them all for the Hall of Fame ceremony. Now you can't fly them out to St. Louis. They need to be at home. There's probably schooling, whatever, jiu-jitsu instructing, I'm sure. And also, like, this was such a work trip for Tom, and it's a big deal for him. It's his first time on camera. I'm sure he didn't want a distraction of family. And I bet it was only a 24-hour trip, 48-hour trip.
And I think, truly, when it comes to Mother's Day or Father's Day, you don't necessarily want to be around your kids. I've heard people say, like, for Father's Day, I just want to go golfing and not be around any of the kids.
Correct.
And same for Mother's Day. They're like, look, let me go get a pedicure, be alone, read a book, go to the toilet without kids banging on the door, and that's all they want.
But I will say, how disheartening though, right? Like like Joaquim Valente was like teaching Benny how to paddleboard, and it has to feel some type of way that, like, all right, my ex, I've reconciled that situation, but now my kids are now with her new man and being taught these fatherly things. I don't know. I would have to feel some type of way about it.
And side note to this, because there was a story that came out not that long ago that Gisele and Joaquim had split.
Yeah.
That the public pressure was just like too much and the media attention. And like also the weight from the Tom Brady roast.
Right.
However, seeing these photos, they don't look broken up. They look great.
Joaquim looks great too.
Oh my gosh, that guy's ripped. Woo! I mean, it is Gisele after all. She can get any guy.
Tom looks good too.
All right, moving on to Kevin Costner. He is defending selfishly casting his son in the new show Horizon over experienced actors. He's saying that he's a beautiful boy. He got interviewed about this, and here's what he had to say.
He's a beautiful boy, and he's quiet, and I have not shoved my children into the business. I realize there's so many young actors out there that would just kill to be in this movie, and I don't want to take those parts away from him just because I can place my own children in, but in this instance, it was a smaller part. I selfishly wanted him with me.
Interesting. What do you think of the whole Nepo baby?
I don't really care. I mean, he went on to say that the role was only 2 weeks of filming.
Yeah, it was very
it's
short.
A very tiny role. Like, who cares? Like, you're gonna find the next like Tom Brady of acting based on Kevin Costner putting you in a 2-week filming role in this small movie, small part. Like,
to be fair, this could have been someone's big break. You said small to you, but to somebody, this would have been a life-changing
Maybe
career
it's
move.
Hayes' big break. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we always have this argument in the newsroom, right?
I
When
know,
it's
I
always
know.
like you use what you have. You know what I mean? Like,
And also, as a parent, of course, you're going to
yeah,
help out your children. You want them to be successful. If they're showing interest in something, you want to help
right.
them achieve what they want. But I mean, there is the whole thing where, some other actor out there would have done anything for this role. And instead, Kevin's like, no, we're going to go with my son.
I mean, I don't get it. And like he said, that the kid is beautiful, and it's like, who cares? God, I can't. What do you want him to do? Be like, no, my son has interest in broadcasting, but I can't put him in there. Like
And I feel like also too, like just here, I feel like everyone knew somebody to
that's
get
correct.
a job here.
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
I knew somebody, you knew somebody.
Miguel, yeah.
Oh no, are we kind of nepotism?
Right, nepo friends.
Yeah, nepo friends.
Oh yeah, and it's like that with everything in life, right? I mean, to bash him for this. Now, if he had made him the star of the show and put him in there, I'd be like, all right, that's a little slow down. But man, 2 weeks of filming, getting his feet in the water, it's no different than putting your kid in at the end of a game of a football game, right? Like just get him some reps in,
God.
let him run the ball a little bit,
And not sit on the bench.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, get over it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we kind of see eye to eye on that.
All right, for this next part, this is almost news section. You obviously do this for Charlie more than I do this with you. This one is Landon Donovan, huge
player,
huge soccer star. Well, really in the past he was a huge soccer star. Now he's retired. He's broadcasting now. He's kind of
like Tom Brady
in the fold, like a Tom Brady. Yes. Yeah. So he's broadcasting the Euro 2024 matches for Fox, similar to Brady, and he's on camera, analyzing and previewing a game. Well, he turns and he's basically missing half his hair.
I saw this photo of him with this very strange haircut where it's like low sideburns, but then like shaved in the back.
Yeah, it appeared
strange.
Intentional, right? So throughout the afternoon, he's trending on Twitter, or I guess on X, and nobody really knows what's going on with his hair. Well, we got down to the bottom of it late, I guess, Monday night. His former LA Galaxy teammate Mike McGee revealed a text message exchange between the two. They're close. And Landon essentially explained that he was going through a hair transplant procedure.
Ooh.
And he was told it wouldn't show up on the broadcast.
So
it was kind of a mistake.
Is the teammate going to be in trouble for sharing this? No. I feel like Landon wouldn't want that out there.
Well, I mean, he's got to explain it now. I mean,
yeah.
If you guys, like, you'll see this on Twitter when you guys get off the podcast. You have to, I mean, there's no way you could just be like, no, that's an intentional haircut.
Really? I mean, I feel like he should have been like, this is the new look. Like, this is 2024, like, hot guy summer look.
It was not the look, I'll tell you that. So
Edward, I'm going to see you coming in here with that haircut.
I will say this. There was another picture of him that wasn't with, like, broadcast lights, you know what I mean? And it's much more subtle. Like, it was just like me and you sitting here, like, or you in the office sitting in, and it's much more subtle. It's just with the cameras, it really emphasized the delineation between where he was shaved and where he wasn't. So it looked really, really off.
Very interesting because Landon, I know he always would get criticism back in the day for losing his hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a thing with him for a long time.
Yeah, and he was always playing with David Beckham, right? They were on the Galaxy together.
Yeah.
Those two were amazing. Poor David. Did you watch that David Beckham special?
I didn't.
Oh, you should watch it. It's so good. He talks about how he came to America, how like soccer is not a big thing here, and he was in shock.
Yeah.
Still isn't?
No.
Oh, that's sad.
Messi tried. Messi was good for a minute.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Landon Donovan, he's a name for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, Edward, for my favorite segments.
Okay.
Today in history. This day in 1983, Dr. Sally Ride became the first American woman to travel into space aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger. First woman to space from the U.S.
That's really great.
No thoughts? I mean, what the heck?
To me, I don't care.
You can say, go women!
Space is like the least thing I care about. I don't understand why. What do we get out of being in space?
I mean, I feel like you can learn so much from space about the Earth through space.
I'm so claustrophobic that the idea of being in like a rocket ship.
Oh, no, I would never want to, be an astronaut.
None of it makes sense to me, and like I don't really care for it.
So you don't think later down the road when you could like pay let's say $100 to go up to space and have dinner for an evening and then come back down, you wouldn't do it?
No chance.
No dates
I don't.
up
I
there
won't
in
even take an
space?
elevator to the 100th floor of a building.
Yeah, that is a little terrifying
Everything
too.
scares me. Yeah.
But when you're up that high, you don't really get the feeling of being like, ooh, like fear of heights, because it's like it looks like a painting.
It's the more the box that you have to take to get up to the thing. You know
So
what
you
I mean?
want something more spacious,
Yeah,
more
yeah,
roomy to
yeah.
spread those legs.
Right. I'm tall.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
All right, and then also this day in 2004, a true Dodgeball, a true underdog story was released, and Toy Story 3 was released in 2010 in theaters.
Good movie.
Did you love Toy Story?
Yeah, it was cool.
I love Toy Story.
It's sad though.
Is Toy Story 3 the one where, I don't want to spoil it. You know what? It's been, 14 years? I guess I can spoil it. Where they're all like in the furnace, ready to die.
Yeah, I think most of them die, right? The toys.
Wait, what do you mean they
I don't
die?
know.
At the end, they're all saved and they're like going to a yard
No,
sale.
like one of them dies, right? One of the toys. I don't know.
Oh no!
It's
Who?
I don't know.
Okay, spoiler
it's
alert
been
from
20
you.
years since we watched this, right?
I love those movies. Today is also Paul McCartney's birthday, and
Paul.
he is 82. And Blake Shelton, his birthday, 48. Blake Shelton dating my icon, Gwen Stefani, OC girl. So cool.
Very cool.
No comments.
She's cool.
Love her. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Edward, will you be back with us tomorrow?
If you have me. Yeah.
Woo! All right. See you tomorrow.